Hi, this is Stephanie, and I'm here at the Convention Center for the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Show in Hampton, Virginia, and we are getting ready to start opening day. And our booth number here is 219, so if you're in this neck of the woods and you want to stop on in, you can visit us here at the booth. Dusty's going to take a picture here of our business card. All of our information is on there. Our YouTube channel, our website, all of that good stuff, our booth number. So if you need to get a hold of us or want to check out our YouTube channel, you've got all the information there. I'm just going to start kind of at the beginning this morning. Lots of people have asked lots of questions. You know, doing rulers on your domestic sewing machine is awesome. I'm not going to say it's instantaneous or anything like that. I mean, yeah, it still has a bit of a learning curve. But when you get home and you've been at the show and you've purchased the templates, you're going to get these 5 templates here in the mini bag, which is this little blue guy. And if you buy the large set, you're going to get the same 5 templates, only in the bigger size. So lots of options there as far as designs are concerned. Also in that blue bag, you're going to get a foot. This is the mini foot that you would use with these mini templates here. Of course, the larger size templates, you're going to use the larger foot. So if you have a Westerly foot or those clear feet, as long as it's a ruler foot and it's you can use it with our templates. Okay, so that's what you're going to get in your bag. You're also going to get at the show, you're going to get a little bag or a little cheat sheet, I call it. Lots of little tips and tricks. Tells you kind of things you want to do before you sit down and try to quilt for the very first time. Talks about putting something grippy on the back of your templates. It talks about waxing your table in the throat of your machine. It talks about how to put your foot on correctly and how to adjust it according to what you're quilting. So every time you quilt a quilt, you're going to adjust the foot according to how thick or thin the quilt is. So lots of good information on this little cheat sheet for you. Also, you can always go to the YouTube channel and watch the videos. I do show and explain how to do this on all of those as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to put the foot on to get started here. I've got my little foot. And this little slot here is where the screw that's typically in the shank here, I've taken out. So now this little screw is going to go through that little slot. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. Now, if you can make your fingers work, you'll be good to go. So now, before, I'm just tightening this up finger tight. I'm not tightening it all the way because I want to be able to adjust this. So instead of tightening it up all the way, all I'm going to do here, now I've got my quilt sandwich, which is my 3 layers. I've got a backing fabric, a batting, and I'm just using an 80-20 blend for batting, and then a top fabric. And what I'm going to do is slide that underneath because this is how, you know, the thickness of my quilt. Now, a couple of things that I want to check before I tighten up that screw is to take a template, it doesn't matter which one. It has my grippy on it already, so I've got my hot glue there. And we want to make sure, because this is still loose, that we cannot slide the template under the foot. So even when I put it in the groove here, and the foot's in the down position, I want to make sure that my template can't slide underneath there. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that screw up if I can. There we go. So now you see my foot down. I can't slide it underneath. That's really, really important. Notice also how the template is about halfway up, you know, on the thickness part of this foot. So once I set my foot down in that groove, I literally can't get it out of that path, okay? So once you have your foot adjusted to the proper height, now like I said, you're going to want to do this every single quilt, because you may be using something that's flannel and it's going to be thicker, or you may not be using, you know, you may be using a thicker batting, or for whatever reason. So you want to make sure you're adjusting that foot every time. Now the feet are warranted for life, so regardless if anything ever happens to it, we'll replace it for you. And I'm going to show you how to do some feathers this morning. Get to a place here that I don't have any stitching. When doing feathers, I use 2 pieces of our beginner set, and that is our flourish, which is our spine tool, and our feather magic. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I've got my hot glue on the back, and that's going to give me grip. So now I'm able to move my entire quilt using just this template. I've already waxed my table using turtle car wax. So wax your table and the throat of your machine. It's going to give you lots of slippery. It's really cheap and it lasts a really, really long time. Also, when I put my quilt sandwich together, I use 505 spray based, and that's just to keep your layers together. You don't want to have to worry about moving pins and all that nonsense. So 505 is a wonderful product, and it works really, really well, and it's temporary, so it washes out. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do here is pull my bobbin thread up to the top, and once I've grabbed that bobbin thread, all I'm going to do is floss, and then I can pull all of that out together. Foot's going to go in the down position, and I'm just going to do a couple stitches to lock that in. Make sure I'm stopping in the down position. Trim my threads away here. So all we're going to do here is bump right against the edge of the foot, and we're going to stitch. And when you get to the end, you're going to stop needle down, slide your template, and stitch again. And you're going to get that perfect wavy line from that border or sashing every time. So you get a really nice stitch line. Now, I'm going to just twist my fabric before I get rid of this flourish tool. And like I said, it is part of the beginner set. I'm going to show you how I use it to make leaves. So when I'm making leaves, if you can see, there's a registration line here and one here as well. All I'm going to do is put that right against the edge of the foot. And I'm going to stitch that outside curve, stop needle down, turn, and I'm going to stitch the curve on the way back. And what this does is give me that perfect little leaf shape. And I put a vein in there. But you can see how nice that little leaf looks. So, same tool I'm using there. So that's the flourish. And now for the feathers. Now this is our feather magic. Hot glue on both sides of this. Any of the templates that you're going to want to flip upside down, right side up to get, you know, different patterns. You want to put glue on both sides. There is a registration line that runs across here. So all we're going to do here is slide that template in around the foot, and I can push it in or pull it out to make my feathers longer or shorter depending on, you know, how wide my border or sashing is. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch out, kind of pushing against that inside edge a bit, and then back to the top where that registration line is. And now all I'm going to do is slide that over so that I'm back in the tip of that hook, and I'm going to stitch it again back down to the spine. So now I've just made 2 feathers. All I did was move the template one time. The only back stitching I'm doing is right on the tip of every other feather. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue and move up this around. When I hit that feather that I just finished, I'm going to come back to the top where that registration line is and slide my template over. And I'm just going to repeat this process all the way to the top. But it works out really quickly and super simple, and I get perfect backtracks every single time because I've got this template that's kind of leading the way. Okay, so if you can see that, I hope so. But you can see the tip of every other feather is the only part that's getting backtracked. So I hope that helps you out. You can pick up any of our templates on our website at www.cscountrystitchin.com. One more quick tip. I use a top stitch needle. So if you have thread shred issues, because this does happen, I've found that if you switch to a top stitch needle, it's 9014 is the size, that will stop that thread shred. It works out pretty good. And you may have to adjust your tension a bit, so don't be afraid of that. Just make sure you mark where your tension is when you start, so then you can remember to go back to there when you're done. So if you need any help, feel free to email me anytime or catch me on Facebook. And if you're in our neck of the woods, stop in at the booth here at the Hampton Convention Center at booth 219. Thank you. Have a great day.